Hello, hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this evening once again. I'm Lucas Chong from Select Property, UK developer. And today we are going to discuss, or should I say, share more about a very interesting topic, which is Global Property Investment Guide, sharing more on I would say, facts, the pros, and the tips to look out for when investing in overseas. And these covers four main countries, which are very popular for foreign investment. So from the United Kingdom to Australia to Singapore, as well as to Thailand. And to cover the agenda today, we will first start off by looking into the fundamentals of overseas property investing. Why invest in overseas property? We'll look at the four popular overseas property markets, as well as the pros and cons, or should I say tips to look out for, and some case study for these markets just to see whether these markets would be suitable to your personal investment portfolio. We'll also look at why Asian investors has been or are starting to look at UK property. And of course, we'll be sharing with you a very exclusive investment opportunity for those who are interested in UK property in central Manchester Zone 1. And last but not least, some actual case study to share on the historical data, the growth data for Manchester to support to share a more specific insight, I would say, into the current market growth. Now, without further ado, let's look into the fundamentals of overseas property investing. So whether you are new to investing in property, whether it's in your home country or you are a seasoned investor, we all know that investing is one of the main way to grow your wealth. And whether your investment goal is for retirement or to maintain your lifestyle, property investing has always been one of the best way to reach that goal. And of course, we have seen many cases of people around us, especially landlords, growing rich in their sleep without working, risking, or economizing. Now, it all comes down to gaining passive income, and when growing your wealth or obtaining passive income, this can be done through many channels. Investing in properties, investing in private equity, in funds, in currencies, and with investment, as we can appreciate, it is all about risk and return, and which might suit your appetite, and what would be a balanced portfolio. And if we dive into just purely on property investing, we want to look at spreading your eggs outside of one basket. So by investing locally and by investing overseas, and if you are exploring overseas, which country would be more suitable for you to look at, and what are the expenses required? What are the rulings that you might want to take note of before you invest overseas? And reason for investing in overseas property. Now, why overseas property? Many of us would have started with a local property in our home country, I believe, as it is where we grew up in. We are familiar with the market. We are familiar with the laws and regulation, and the property is very near to us. So in terms of management, we have a more direct access as well. So why invest in overseas property? Now, we've seen so many wealthy individuals has expanded their portfolio at a very early stage into overseas property. And these are the main reasons why one should diversify your portfolio. Like we said, diversification of investment portfolio is something very important, as we do not want to put all our eggs in one basket. In cases of economic uncertainty in one country or the currency drop in one country, which we've seen probably in the recent times. This would affect your property if they're all focused in one country, which is why to manage a balanced portfolio, to spread out the risk, diversification of investment portfolio is always something very important. And of course, one of the reasons that many investors are looking to invest overseas is all down to numbers because you are higher. So apart from your investment yield, your capital gain could be much higher in other countries as well. So as a very diligent investor, we always want to tap into or to capitalize on the growth in different countries to our benefits. And this is why what investing in overseas property can benefit you. And of course, with overseas investment, as you spend across your funds or investment outside your home country, you get exposure to different currencies apart from the property gain, apart from the rental demand, which you can benefit from other countries. You can also benefit from the currency exchange in that country. So currency gains is something which has benefited a lot of our investor, especially in the UK, I would say, because pounds has been growing steadily now. So apart from your investment in property, you also get extra gain from the currency gain here. And of course, with some overseas investment, you do get to enjoy the lifestyle benefits. You might be buying this for investment or some for holiday house, but by owning a property overseas, it always supplement you in terms of lifestyle benefits as well. And when it comes to numbers, by investing overseas, depending on the tax regulations in that country, you may enjoy tax benefits, so reduced tax payment. When you invest overseas, I would say especially for many of our audience here from Singapore, we can appreciate that the ABSD has increased recently again. So by investing elsewhere, you can enjoy a same or higher growth and while reducing your tax liability as well. And of course, for many parents who are investing overseas, this is for planning of their children who are studying or going to study overseas as well. So study abroad accommodation or purely just getting rental from the country your children are studying in to hedge the expenses that you will spend in that country for the next 4 to 5 years' time. This is also a very good strategy and one of the many reasons that many investors are investing in overseas property. And if you are wondering how to invest in overseas property, now if this is your first time looking at overseas property, I would say these are the main few pointers that I would advise to look into before you invest overseas. So first of all, research on different markets. Research in detail on the laws and regulation, on the expenses, on the types of properties, on the restrictions on entry and exiting of your investment before you invest overseas. You want to be familiar with the market before you put your funds there. And of course, when you have done so, choose a reputable developer to buy from. As we can know in the market, it consists of a different portfolio of developers or selling agents per se. So you want to go with a reputable property developer with a strong track record. So do your due diligence and invest in the right developer. Seek professional advice. So compare your advice, seek professional advice on investing in a region that is outside your country and also find out if that specific property market would go in line with your personal investment goal or your appetite. Visit a property if you want to fly over to visit a property or have a look at the country to experience the country to see if you like it there, to see the economy side of things, the macroeconomy sides, to understand the government's planning, the master plans that exist in that country, and more importantly, also timing to enter the market. And of course, number five, consider currency exchange risk. When you want to invest overseas, you exchange your currency to that home currency, I would say. So do consider that because currency do fluctuate as well according to the economics fluctuation. So do enter low so you can benefit from the currency exchange gain. Of course, with timing, we consider not just low currency, but also timing of how the macroeconomics of that country is growing, when is a good time to enter, and also on specific regional master plans, if you should wait or if you should enter now. All those are very important factors to decide the most optimum timing that would match your personal goal. And with that, let's look into the four popular overseas property markets that many investors have been investing in. We have seen great success in these countries. We have also seen some cases that we will learn lessons from. So let's dive into it and to see which one might suit your portfolio better. Now, first of all, Australia undoubtedly has been one of the most popular country that many investors has invested in, especially in if you're from Southeast Asia, Singapore and Malaysia. Australia is fairly near to us, and it is also famous for tertiary education. So we've seen many investors going into Australia. Why invest in Australia property? Now, first of all, affordability. Now, Australia generally is rather affordable in terms of property investment. Australia is a big country to start with, so it depends on which city you're going into, but generally it is on the affordable side for property investment. And for Australia, we've also seen a steady growth and rental yield for the past decades as well. So Australia has proven to be one of the very stable market. There is availability of insurance as well for Australian properties, so you are protected in that manner. And around 70% of Australian households are homeowners by the locals. So there is relatively little speculations. Now, when you enter into a new property market, you want to look at how much speculation is there in the market, because that would obviously affect then the outlook of the property market, which in terms will affect your investment in the property. So with Australia, it is relatively on a very low scale in terms of speculation because majority of homeowners, I would say land homeowners are using it for own stay. There has been a consistent undersupply of housing in most capital cities of Australia as well, and Australia has never had prices fall more than 20% in 1 year. So looking at the bigger picture, Australia has proven to be a very consistent market. And if we look into what expenses is needed for buying an Australian property, now these are the main, I would say, expenses that you would need to take into consideration for your own calculation of expenses when you want to invest in Australia property. Now, first of all, we've got legal fees, and this often goes from 800 to 2,000. Of course, you've got your stamp duty as well. Now, Australia's stamp duty is relatively low as well, very similar to UK. And with Australia, one fees to take note would be the FIRB approval fees. And this would be standing for Foreign Investment Review Board approval fees. So when foreigners want to invest in Australia, you need to pay for these FIRB approval fees. And since July 2022, the fees has also doubled as well. So this is one of the fees you might want to take into consideration. And of course, we've got property inspection fees involved. If you are going for mortgage, there will be loan establishment fees, and these range from net to 895, depending on the lender. If you're buying from an agent, buyer's agent fees are involved. And of course, other minor costs include building insurance, council rates, water rates, and adjustment can be up to 0.5% of the property value in total. Now these are the standard fee supplies, but I would say for Australian property, do look out for FIRB approval fees, which is not seen, I would say, in a typical market for overseas property. And looking into the property prices in Australia now, Australia is rather huge. So if we look at the list of cities here, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, Hobart, Darwin, Canberra, the kind of median value range from round about, I would say, 500,000 to 1 million. So average about 700,000 to 800,000. And if we look at the average, the national average, we're looking at around about 700,000 for buying an Australian property. In terms of annual growth, this is based on CoreLogic on May last month record. It is a negative 8% in growth. It depends on a lot of factors on the specific location you're investing in. But personally, what I would say based on case studies that we've experienced with Australian property, these are some of the restrictions that you may want to know. So for foreigners, non-residents, foreigners, you cannot buy established dwellings, but you can buy new dwellings or off-plan properties. So in this essence, basically, you can buy off-plan property for Australian property if you're a foreigner and a non-resident in Australia. And for foreign non-residents, you are normally allowed to buy an established dwelling for redevelopment, provided the redevelopment increases the housing stock. The project is completed within 4 years of the date of approval, and the existing dwelling is not rented out prior to demolition and redevelopment. So there are some cases if you want to buy established dwelling, completed properties already that meets these criteria, you may. And foreign non-residents can also buy vacant land for residential dwelling development, subject to the development being completed within 4 years of the date of approval, and evidence of the project's completion being submitted within 30 days of being received. Now, this would be on a less, I would say, a normal way to approach. So buying vacant land, provided you can meet the timelines of the completion. Now, generally, I would say for Australian property, it is a great market to enter. Australian has also been growing very well for decades. Some regions are quite mature now, as we have seen foreign investors pouring in for the past decades. So prices has also gone up significantly as well. And in terms of the general sentiments, Australian government are controlling the property market very similar to Singapore market. So you do see more restrictions in the market. So these are some of the restrictions that you might want to take note of. And apart from that, when reselling, when exiting your investment, some properties you can only resell to local Australian. So that limits your reselling market. So when you want to invest in Australia property, do take pointers of these factors, because for any investment, ultimately you want to enter at the right timing. I would say when the market is emerging will be the best time instead of a maturing market. You want to have healthy growth and capital gain and good potential gain, room for growth still. And more importantly, you want to be able to exit the investment easily when you want to. And going to Singapore, personally, Singapore is one of my favorite country to live in as well. But investing in Singapore, how well is this performing for you now? We all know that Singapore is a financial hub and it attracts a lot of international investments, a lot of family offices going into Singapore. And again, Singapore rental has proven to be doing very well, especially in the recent times as well. So why invest in Singapore? Singapore is a highly developed country supported by good infrastructure. So it is, I would say, it is a country that is where many choose to live in. Because it is highly developed, it is convenient in terms of infrastructure, in terms of transport, in terms of government support as well. And of course, in terms of economic and politics, it is very stable. So this is something that you want to look out for when investing in that country. Singapore has got one of the best and most robust legal system. and strict law enforcement protecting personal safety and property. So in terms of protection, in terms of safety measures, Singapore covers this very well. A high level of affluency and spending power in Singapore, as we most of us would know. There's a high quality of living and healthcare in Singapore as well, and small geographical size of limited land. So with scarce lands, this always means good growth in the market, especially over time. And the cost of purchasing a property in Singapore, now these are the main costs that would be involved by purchasing a property in Singapore. So when you purchase a property, there's option fee involved, typically 1% of the property, stamp duty, buyer stamp duty, as well as additional buyer stamp duty, ABSD. Now, I would say ABSD would be also a cooling measures introduced by the Singapore government to control the market. And this is one of the, I would say, one of the main costs that you want to consider when purchasing in Singapore, especially as a foreigner. ABSD has recently increased as well, so something to take note of. There's legal fees involved, valuation fee, insurance, as well as miscellaneous administration fee. And if you look at the average cost of homes in Singapore, now Singapore consists of different types of properties. So from HDB, which are beneficial more to the local Singaporeans, to private market condominium, and to landed property as well. So we are looking at an average price of 500,000 for HDB. But of course, I believe most of us would know that in some areas, HDB has also surpassed 1 million Singapore dollars in this market. So more to see how well the market has been growing for the Singapore market. The condo cost, overall cost from average of 1.7 million, depending on which district you're buying into, and landed will be upwards of an average of 5 million, depending on location. Of course, with GCB, you get a much higher quantum to enter the market as well. So with Singapore as such a highly developed country, the property price is one of the highest globally as well. And very similar to Australia, because of such growth, the government had to step in to control the market. So various cooling measures has been introduced to the market, from holding period to ABSD, which is one of the main control measures, I would say, to control the market. So this is a very recent update for ABSD, additional buyer stamp duty, that has increased significantly, and the rates are different depending if you are a Singapore citizens to permanent residents or foreigners. But for Singaporeans, you are looking at up to 36% if this is your third residential properties. And for permanent resident, you are looking at up to 41% for ABSD. And for foreigners, we are looking at a very high, up to 66% in total of the basic stamp duty and ABSD. Now, 66% is a very significant amount, of course, as compared to any property principal amount. So something to consider extra cost when you want to invest in the Singapore market. And with Thailand, Thailand has also been very popular in Central Bangkok. I would say we've seen so many developments coming up in the market. So why invest in Thailand property? And now, first of all, comparatively, Thailand is still more affordable, depending on which district as well. Generally, Thailand is very well known for tourist hotspot, as we know. So this attracts a lot of revenue going into the country that impacts the economy of the country directly. Transportation infrastructure is very well developed as well. So with these, and I would say coupled with the tourist hotspot, this really boosts the economy of Thailand. Property prices and capital appreciation in Thailand property has also proven to be very positive, and investment in freehold properties available. friendly Thailand law, and urban and cosmopolitan lifestyle. So we do see many, especially sort of urban people or nomad tech people now who have chose to live in Thailand for these same very reasons. So that also boosts the rental demand for Thailand. And in terms of cost of purchasing a property in Thailand, we are looking at some of the fees involved. So from transfer fee to lease registration fee to stamp duty to withholding tax, land tax as well, and structure usage tax. So these are some of the tax that I would take note in Thailand purchase. But I would say one of the main restrictions or points to look out for would be ownership when it comes to Thailand property. Now, before we go into that, let's look at the average cost of homes in Thailand. And this is from comparing between condominium private properties to landed properties over the past decade, I would say. So this is ranging from around about 30,000 baht to 120,000 in that manner. So you can see the fluctuation of Thai property um, has been fluctuating and it is going on the upwards trend now in the recent 4 to 5 years. And with Thailand property, I would say it is a great market to enter as well. Be it Bangkok, be it Phuket, which has been very popular in the recent market. But something to look out for would be ownership. So foreigners are not allowed to own land by Thailand by land. So if you look at foreigners, you can lease the land for 30 years in Thailand and are subject to renewal thereafter. And foreigners find it difficult to secure financing from Thai banks as well. With ownership of private properties, condo, do look out if full ownership available. I believe there is a limited quota available. Otherwise, some will be partnering with a local Thai name to own the property. And of course, when it comes to mortgage, if you are choosing to leverage on mortgage, financing would be something that you want to look into before investing into the market, same as any market globally as well. And United Kingdom, now apart from Australia, Singapore, Thailand, United Kingdom is one of the most popular hotspot for foreign investors to look at. I would say it comprises of most of the pros that these countries have to offer. So why invest in UK property? Now, first of all, we do see very high rental demand and high rental returns in UK, now often surpassing the rental in Malaysia or Singapore per se, which is why there is so many demand in UK property. And of course, in terms of capital growth has been very positive in the growing emerging market, and many investors do invest in UK for this very one reason. Now, with UK market, it is always imbalance in terms of demand and supply. So for many cities, the supply is still catching up with the demand, which is why we do see a much higher capital gained year on year on UK property. And later on this slide, I'll show you actual historical data on the recent reassignment we've done for 2 to 3 years holding, just to give you an idea of how much property has grown in the market in the recent years. And politically, it is always a very stable market for UK. I would say, despite Brexit, despite pandemic, we do still see a very healthy growth in the property market in the UK. And this is really down to the macroeconomics of UK as a country, and politically, economically, UK has proven for decades to be one of the most stable country, and that offers security and lower risk to your investment. Rising prices, as we know, if you have been following the pricing for UK property, prices has grown steadily as well. So this is always good for investors as you want to see a steady growth for any market that you're buying into. And of course, UK property also offers a very affordable pricing to enter the market as well. On emerging cities in the north cities, for example, we are looking at an average of £300,000 to enter the market. So this is a very affordable, a relatively affordable investment amount to start with. And in terms of cost of purchasing a property in the UK, these are the main costs that you want to look out for when purchasing, investing in the UK. So stamp duty, land tax, VAT. Now, stamp duty in UK is tiered by amount, so it depends on the amount of the property you buy into. So, by purchasing in Manchester, for example, at a lower quantum versus by investing in London Central, your stamp duty land tax will be very different. But averagely, I would say for Manchester, we are looking at between 6 to 8% only for stamp duty. VAT, value added tax, this will be very similar to GST in Singapore. So this will be taxed on the expenses that you're paying on. Council tax. Now, council tax is a relatively small amount. This is paid annually, and this is paid by your tenant. If your property is rented out, this is the responsibility of whoever lives in the property. So if it's rented out, this is the responsibility of your tenant. If your property is vacant, it is then the responsibility of the landlord. And income tax is your income tax on your rental income, and generally this is at 20% of your income in the UK, provided your total income from the UK is within £50,000 per annum. So relatively low tax as well. And for UK, there is capital gain tax. So when you sell your property, you are subject to capital gain tax. So this is either 18 or 28%, depending on your threshold as well, and income tax bracket. And of course, there's inheritance tax that you want to consider in the UK, and there is a 7 years rule on inheritance tax. And for those who are interested in particular for inheritance tax, we can always get in touch and discuss further. But generally, on your estate planning, income tax, capital gain tax, and your mode of holding would be sufficient enough to minimize your tax liability. And if we look at the UK house price index based on different region, again, UK is a very large country, so it depends on the region that you're planning to invest into. From West Midlands to East of England, London, Northwest, North is Southwest, South is West Midlands to Yorkshire and Humber, and we are looking at an average of 240,000 pounds to start with, up to 529,000 pounds. And if we look at the annual change in April, we've seen a very positive growth, average, I would say, of around about 10% in UK, which is why UK has been proven, whether it is short, mid, or long term, to have a positive impact in your capital gain when investing in the UK. And that is what made UK such a popular destination for foreign investors to invest in, especially from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from China, from Malaysia, and the Middle East as well. So why should Asian investors per se start with a UK property? Now, if you're venturing outside, if you're venturing to invest outside of your home country, why should UK be your choice of investing? Now, the UK property market remains one of the most rewarding and stable asset classes, driving strong returns for investors and helping many achieve financial freedom. And I would say for Select Property, as a prominent developers who have been in the market for over 18 years now, and on the recent years, we have seen individual buyers and corporate buyers going into UK property. And within the company, we've worked with Maple Tree Investment, who has invested heavily in our one of our asset class, PBSA. In the market, we do see CDL Singapore investing heavily last year in UK PBSA market as well. And of course, for residential market, this has been undoubtedly a very popular choice of investment for investors worldwide to go into that. And even on exiting your property, as Select Property has an internal resale team, which I'll show later on the recent reassignment we've done. You do see a very healthy return on investment on just a couple of years holding. Now, the UK rental market has also been very strong in the UK. Now, this is really down to the demand of supply, as we understand for property market, fundamentally, it is on demand and supply. And for the UK rental market, especially in Q3 2022, we have seen one of the record-breaking stats in the market because we have the least number of listing available, especially in Manchester. And fundamentally in UK, around 4.9 million of household, they use private rented sector in UK, and culturally as well, many do choose to rent their property long term. So the average age of buying into a property locally in UK has been increasing, which is beneficial to you as an investors because it widens the rental market for your property. And since 2019, rental supply is a third lower and rental prices are over a fifth higher in the UK. And looking at UK market, so which city you may wonder, which is the best city you should dive into or to look out into? Now, this is based on Zoopla report. So Zoopla is very similar to Property Guru. This is an independent platform that you can gather all the rental and statistic for the UK market. So based on Zoopla, this is the annual growth by region. And you can see on number one, it is Manchester leading the way at 14.4% growth. And on UK average, I would say this is around about 11% as well. So if you want to invest in UK, if this is purely for investment, you would want to invest in the northern cities, which has been heavily supported by the government, hence the numbers stated here. And with Manchester, now Manchester over the past 4 to 5 years has consistently proven to be the best performing cities in the UK, and it is also ranked the top three most livable city in the whole of UK consistently. And to be ranked the most livable city of obviously we look at not just property, but in terms of safety, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of healthcare, in terms of cleanliness as well. So Manchester has been voted the top three most livable city for the past 11 years in the UK. And in terms of property sector, the rental year-on-year rental growth and the capital growth has been performing very exceptionally well as well as compared to many countries. So why Manchester? Now Manchester is topping rental growth chart in the UK with a 24% increase on some apartment types in 1 quarter. And this is also voted UK's most livable city for the last 11 years, from 2011 to 2022. This is based on Global Livability Survey. 50% of graduate retention rate from city's five universities. This is the second highest graduate retention rate after London. So Manchester has been a very popular city for tertiary education as well. So apart from business-wise, we do see a lot of demand coming from students and postgraduate. And it has one of the highest retention rate, meaning about 50% of the graduates actually stayed back in Manchester and they continue to work and live in Manchester, and that contributes to the rental demand and the property growth in the market. 80 out of 100 FTSE listed companies have a presence in Manchester, attracting young professionals to work and live in the city. Now, Manchester has grown significantly as well, and it has attracted many FTSE listed companies, either moving their headquarter or branch company in. For example, Booking.com headquarter, BBC as well. And of course, Manchester is now one of the is named the tech city of the UK now, and all that contributes to why the economy has been growing very well. So there we have it. By looking into Manchester, it's no surprise that all factors it possesses supported the growth and year-on-year rental growth as well as the market demand for Manchester property. Now, as commented by JLL, Manchester is truly the best of both worlds. It's reported that post-pandemic, people are looking to live in cities with a village feel. So Manchester is exactly that. It is coming up as a core city for North City, as well as remaining some of the village views that the culture of the city has to offer. And foreign investors are pouring cash into Northern Powerhouse. Now, Northern Powerhouse, for those who are not familiar, is one of the largest master planned by the UK Prime Minister to divert economy from London to North City, and Manchester is one of the core city of this master plan. So along this master plan, we've seen large fundings and improvement being done to transport, for example, high speed two, £1 billion Manchester Airport expansion, as well as economic-wise, businesses are incentivized to move over to Manchester, which leads to a very high population growth for Manchester. And in terms of that, translate to very sustainable demand for properties in Manchester. And by National Geographic is named as the top destination in the world to visit in 2023. So Manchester is really not just up and coming, but a very large city in the limelight currently, I would say. And with that, I would like to share with everyone details of our very exciting latest launch in central Manchester, One Port Street. This is located right in the middle of city centre Manchester, and this is only launched this year on 14 February 2023. Now, One Port Street is under our Prestige Collection, and this is our flagship residential brand under the Prestige Collection. And for those who are familiar with Select Property, we had various very established property brandings from Vita Student, which is acquired by Deutsche Bank as well as Mapletree. We have five residentials under our Affinity Living branding, which is performing very well, and as well as our service apart hotel brand City Suites with two service apart hotels currently ranked top on service on TripAdvisor for the best service apart hotel in Manchester. And we've created Prestige Collection. Now, what is Prestige Collection? Prestige Collection is a property brand that we really focus on the needs of our tenants, or we call it guests in this manner. Because we believe that when we give our uh, guests what they desire in terms of living requirements and a service that they would appreciate, these would translate to very sustainable returns for us as well as for you as our investor. So Prestige Collection offers all the amenities that a five-star hotel and the exclusivity of a private members club. It is a new type of branding that really defines the new luxury in the market. And even before that, we've seen in the media on images of One Port Street, and this is commented to be the next landmark in Manchester after Beetham Tower. And to date, we are very proud to say that One Port Street is very well received in the market. So in just a few months of launching, we are approximately at 62% sold at the moment for One Port Street. And to reiterate the key pillars for Prestige Collection, now with One Port Street and all upcoming properties under Prestige Collection, we focus on modern design and architecture. So every building within the Prestige Collection will have the premium experience of a boutique hotel from design and architecture through materials as well as finishes. And of course, with Select Property, we always focus on location because that is what is most important when it comes to property investment, location, and location. So for Prestige Collection, it is always located in the most desirable city center locations, close to amazing amenity and transport links. So this would be in M1 of central Manchester, very similar to District 9 of Singapore, as well as to the Central Pavilion KLCC area for Malaysia. And under Prestige Collection, we focus on well-being of our guests. So creating spaces and environment to enhance the residents' well-being, from luxury spa, pools, and gyms to green outdoor spaces. Amenities-wise, very comprehensive amenities, redefining work-life balance. Lounge and lobby areas combine casual seating and private booth to create a calm atmosphere for working, relaxing, and socializing. So this comes with a gymnasium, co-working space, hotel-like lobby, swimming pool, private dining area, private reading area, and an open terrace, dry bar for the residents as well. And of course, we offer residents a choice of privacy as well as community. So this is where privacy meets community. We create environments that create choice. Whether you want a private space to enjoy, you can head up to your private dining area, your private reading area, or if you want a sense of community, we've got our dry bar available, our co-working space available for you to participate in. And with all new developments, especially in the M1 area, sustainability is always something very important that we want to focus on. So we strive to reach industry standards and work with reputable partners to deliver sustainable developments, meeting social and economic needs as well. And for this area in specific, it is targeting to be the net zero carbon area. So with One Port Street, the design is very in line with that in terms of greeneries available and courtyards, large courtyards that we offer. And with all developments of One Port Select Property, we offer premium end-to-end service. So from purchasing to exchange of contracts to managing your property and to exiting your property, we are here to help. And we've been doing this for the past 18 years. So personally to me, these aspects are always very important when you look into investment, especially when you invest outside of your home country. And this will be the image of One Port Street. It consists of three towers. The main towers goes up to level 32, with two smaller towers adjacent to it. And we've got a large courtyard space here. Now, introducing the most exquisite standard of living in Manchester's very own cultural powerhouse. This is located in Northern Quarter, central Manchester. And for those who are familiar with Manchester, Northern Quarter is a new place to be. It is described as the creative district of Manchester. So here you can see a lot of street art, a lot of quirky bars and restaurants, a lot of tech companies are in this vicinity as well. And for this location, it is also minutes walk away to the main train station, the Piccadilly train station, as well as the main shopping district in Manchester. Development overview. So One Port Street, in terms of completion, this will be in Q4 2025. It consists of 477 apartments, one, two, and three bedroom apartments, 32-story with spectacular views across the city. And this is a landmark destination in the heart of Manchester Creative District, truly prime location. And this is developed and managed by Select Property ourselves, part of Prestige Collection, and starting price from £309,000. And as a tradition of Select Property, we always work with Tier 1 partners. So same for One Port Street. Developer is Select Property and architect is Simpson Hoff. Now, the Hoff family has also commented that One Port Street it will be the next landmark of Manchester. Now, Simpson Hoff has created some of the very I would say legendary development in Manchester, including Beetham Tower, number one Spinningfield, which is the main tower in the business district. As well as a few iconic buildings. So for the Hoff family to design One Port Street, it is with the mind that this will be the next landmark tower after Beetham Tower. And contractor will be Renneker. And with property, it's always about location. Now, if you look at the map here, this is the map of central Manchester. And with Zone 1 City Centre Manchester, it is segregated by the Ring Road, which is the one in yellow. And this would be the location of One Port Street. If you look at the developments over here, these are the past developments of Select Property, and they are all located in City Centre Manchester, mostly completed and performing well. So we've got our service apart hotel, City Suites 1 and 2 here. We've got our Affinity Living branded residences completed here. So these are Affinity Living Embankment West, Riverside, and Riverview. We've got our Crown Street collection here as well on M15. But if you look at the specific side of One Port Street, now this is in M1, Central Manchester, City Centre, Manchester, and this is within 10 minutes walk to the main shopping district. Arnsdale Shopping Centre, Harvey Nichols, they're all located here. And this is also 9 minutes walk to the main train station, Piccadilly train station. For those who know Manchester well, now Piccadilly train station will be the stop where future high speed 2 is stopping in, and this is the largest master plan, not just in Manchester, but in the whole of UK. So when that completes, that will benefit the value as well as the demand, rental demand for properties within the vicinity. And One Port Street is located within the framework of High Speed 2. So this is truly a very valuable location for One Port to be sitting on. For select property, we always sought the prime location or highly desired location where we carefully seek it and where we build our developments in to ensure the most optimum growth and return for our investor. So as you can see with One Port Street, it is walks away to your lifestyle amenities. It is walking distance to your tenant pool as well. We've got our commercial area here. And for future demand, it is close to the latest master plan, Central Retail Park master plan, which I'll touch on in more detail later, as well as the High Speed 2 master plan. And as we mentioned earlier, One Port is located in Northern Quarter, and Northern Quarter is a truly unique place to be in. So this is the street art capital of the city centre Manchester, often compared to Shoreditch or Brooklyn or West Hollywood. So if you're here in Northern Quarter, you can see a lot of arts and gallery, and you can see street arts available, quirky bars and restaurants available. So this is truly the place to be, where many tenants now want to live in this side of the city. And Northern Quarter previously has always been described as an up and coming area, and finally it is now. So Northern Quarter is Manchester's world-renowned creative district, buzzing with character rooted in its industrial past. And as you are here in Northern Quarter, it is truly a balance of arts as well as luxury living and location-wide close to most of the aspect you would need transport. This is also 5 minutes walk away to the Piccadilly tram station, Piccadilly Gardens tram station, and minutes walk away to your shopping amenities, to your restaurants and bars area, as well as to the main transport line. So you can imagine how well connected this location it truly is. And within the value, the two main values for the growth of One Port Street is the master plan that's connected to it. So High Speed 2 is one of the largest master plan in the UK. In fact, it is the largest master plan in the UK. And One Port is located within the framework of High Speed 2. Now, High Speed 2, when completed, will cut the travel time from London to Manchester by half, and this will also improve the connectivity between all cities to Manchester, and this will bring in approximately 10,000 new jobs into Manchester as a result of this master plan. So truly a good boost to the economy and property scene for Manchester, an effort by the UK government following the Northern Powerhouse Master Plan. So as we can see here, this is the framework of High Speed 2, and One Port Street is located within the framework of the High Speed 2 Master Plan. The current train line that goes into Manchester, into the Piccadilly train station is rated number 1 here in grey. And the future train line that will go into Manchester is on rated number 2. So you can see how close One Port Street is located to both train lines. which is really beneficial in terms of growth and rental demand. And I would like to bring your attention to plot number 12. Now, plot number 12 is a second master plan, and this is the latest master plan called the Central Retail Park Master Plan in East Manchester. And this is one of the new commercial site that's upcoming, 1 million square feet of commercial site. So both this master plan will boost the value of your property in One Port Street as they come into realization. So as you can appreciate, when investing in properties, it is always to invest first at the right timing. So as you enter early as an emerging district in Manchester, you will get to capitalize on the growth of the market as these come into actualization. As well as location. So as you invest, you want to invest in prime location, um, especially in Manchester, with developments coming up. The central property will be the last to be affected when supply reaches demand, and this is where you want to park your funds in. And going in detail for Central Retail Park Master Plan. Now, this is a master plan targeting net zero carbon. This is a 1 million square feet of new commercial sites coming up. And this will cater to larger players in terms of tech companies, media companies, players coming into town. So currently for this area, we have got companies or tenant pools, which is in the Enclosed area, and this will serve as a new commercial site to the market, and this is only 2 minutes walk away to the One Port Street location. And if we look at the Central Retail Park Master Plan now, most of the plots are approved for commercial, but we've also got plots approved for hotel, for medical centers, for leisure public space as well, and as well as for schools. So as you can imagine, when this progresses, it will be a very sustainable blueprint on its own, and how this will truly benefit the growth of One Port Street as well, located just minutes walk from it. One portion in terms of amenities. Now, this is one of the very few development in the market that offers comprehensive amenities, especially a swimming pool. Now, very few developments in Manchester offer swimming pool. And for One Port, we've got a swimming pool with a skylight. This is located in basement one. Of course, we've got our hotel-style grand lobby centered around 360 fire pit. We've got premium F&B outlet and ground floor urban garden with ambient lighting and heated seating areas. We've got a seventh floor Paganini Club Lounge. Now, this is one of my personal favorite. So this is located on the seventh floor. Terrace Lounge, this is a dry bar. So this caters to residents throughout the whole year. We've also got luxury co-working space with private booth available, a resident lounge and reading area, and private dining areas reimagined. And of course, not missing out, we've got a large gymnasium with separate fitness studio available and residence parking with electric charging capacity. These are eligible to be purchased separately for certain apartment types. And looking at the floor plan, now amenity space are located on the ground level as well as level 7. So here we are looking at the ground level. And just to bring everyone on the tour here, so coming up from the main entrance, this is on our 12 o'clock, we go into the main lobby. So this is where you can see our hotel-style grand lobby with real fire pit. This is the waiting area for the development. And as you walk straight, you reach the innovative co-working space. Following through, you've got our separate fitness studio for yoga classes, for separate fitness classes, and we've got our large gymnasium, full specification gymnasium here. And of course, on the side, we've got our concierge, 24/7 concierge, leading to our lift going up to the residential apartments. And going to the other side, this will be private meeting booth, which will lead you to where the swimming pool will be located and at on basement. And we've also got a large courtyard here, as you can see. And this would have ambient lighting and heated seating areas. So a truly good sight and features, which is very highly appreciated in the UK. And on level 7, we reached the private dining spaces. Now, level 7 will comprise of some apartments here, but partially it will be amenities. So we've got our private dining spaces. This is based on first come, first served basis. And we've got our resident lounge and reading area, more co-working space, and this will lead you to our open terrace, our Paganini Lounge dry bar area for residents to enjoy throughout the whole year. Apartment sizes type. So one bedroom apartments range from £300,000 to £351,000. A size of approximately 500 to 571 square feet. And two bedroom apartments range from £390,000 to £520,000. Apartment size from 700 to 1,002 square feet. And if we look at the typical floor plan here on the main tower, we have got 12 apartments per floor, consisting of one bedroom apartments and two bedroom apartments. So we've got our dark gray apartments. These are the two bedroom apartments, four corner units, and four single viewing units. We've got our four one-bedroom apartments as well. Now, most apartments would have a good view. Some are facing the shopping district, some are facing the city center, some are facing the Piccadilly Basin, as well as some are facing the courtyard area. So for those who are interested to find out more, do get in touch with us after, and we can share these details with you on a one-to-one consultation. Some visuals for everyone to have a look for One Pot Street. So this is One Pot Street, standing at 32-story tall. As you can see, on this area, you don't see high buildings around it. So One Port Street is truly iconic in that sense, and the way it is designed by the Hoff family is also to be the next landmark, similar to what Beetham has done. And we've got the whole floor dedicated to leisure and amenity space, including our seventh floor Paganini Lounge, terrace and lounge, luxury co-working space, and private dining spaces. And this would be some of the views you can see. Now in Manchester, you don't see much rooftop terrace that is covered or designed to cater for the weather throughout the whole year. And it is all about the details that goes into it. They will provide a good experience for the residents, and in terms of that, ensuring a high rebooking rate for the residents, and that translates to very sustainable investment returns and rental for you. And this will be our grand lobby style in the entrance of the hotel, with a real 360 fire pit for a sense of arrival every day. This will be our swimming pool. This is located at basement 1 with skylights available. So consisting of a 2,000 square feet swimming pool and a spa pool as well. And this will be our open plan living spaces for residents to enjoy, resident lounge. This will be a sample of how the interior of the development would look like. So all apartments are readily tenanted on handover with all the appliances, bathroom and kitchens are fully fitted. The loose furnitures are not included, but as you can imagine, it's a full glass structure. So very bright open unit with lots of natural sunlight, and this really defines the demand for the gap in terms of the rental market that's in demand for the features here. Bright open units, this is another bedroom. Each apartment comes with integrated appliances. This is the gymnasium here, full spec gymnasium. And these are some of the aspects. This is estimated from level 31. So we've got apartments facing Encores, Piccadilly Basin, and some facing Northern Quarter, which is the shopping district, as well as the city centre. And for payment plan, one bedroom and two bedroom differs. So for those who are interested, it is a £5,000 reservation fee plus £495 admin fee. And for one bedroom apartments, it is a 30% down payment on contract of exchange. So this is approximately a month after your deposit reservation. And 70% balance is only due on completion in Q4 2025. And for two-bedroom apartments, it is then 25% down payment on exchange of contracts and 75% down payment due on completion in Q4 2025. And why One Port Street? Now, to summarize, why One Port Street? Firstly, location. It is located in unrivaled location, M1 district. And there's incredibly limited land supply in this area, especially in Manchester. So with the scarcity of land, that really boosts the capital gain of One Port Street in time to come. And this is the only development in the northern quarter that comes with a swimming pool and a club lounge as well. So no similar or comparable properties are located within this area in M1. So as you can imagine how this will attract the right pool of tenants to go into this development. And this is the first development in Manchester to balance five-star quality and warm community. A lot of thoughts, details are done, put into the experience of the residents. Because for select property, what we are different is that apart from just developing the building, we focus a lot on managing and the experience for the tenants and residents, which is why our development has had very sustainable success for our investors worldwide. And Manchester rental market performance in general has been very one of the highest among UK with future growth projections. And last but not least, the Northern Quarter as a bonus is also voted one of the coolest neighborhoods in the world, and this is by Time Out magazine in 2022. And before that, let's look at a few case study for UK. Now, earlier on, I did share about the growth of Manchester market, and we've put together a historical data of recent resale transaction that we've done in our previous developments. And as you can see, these are from two separate developments, apartment A and apartment B, from different floors, low to high floors. So purchasing price stated here, and the holding period was within 1 to 2 years. So purchase in, for example, A2 purchased in August 21 and sold in November 2022. Premium of 9.4% uplift, and this is just in approximately 1 year holding. And you look at a 44% ROI in just 1 year holding with just a 25% down payment. And with a one bedroom, for example, this is also a 1 year holding at 42% ROI. And if you look at apartment B19, this is on the longer holding, but just less than 2 years holding, and we are looking at a 43% ROI. So if you look at the premium, it's consistent at 9.4% growth, very healthy profit for a short-term holding. And of course, as you hold longer for Manchester, which is the ideal case, as the city grows, as the city benefits from the wider master plan and the specific district master plan, you will see a very healthy outlook on your investment. And that would be the end of our sharing today. I hope it is insightful for everyone on the various markets factors to look out for, as well as the restrictions to look out for on why UK is the top destination for overseas property investment, as well as insight on the Manchester market and One Port Street. And for those who are interested to explore further, do reach out to us on email below, and one of our team members will then reach out to you to assist you. And that's the end for today. That's all from me. So thank you very much for your time today, everyone. And I hope to see you in our next webinar. Thank you and have a good evening.